Hola Ignacio. This is architecture of Latin America. How does Latin American architecture differ from Western architecture? Well, it varies by European styles, and Latin American buildings result in a vibrant and diverse architectural landscape. I'll be going over various Latin American countries, starting with Spain. Due to them uh, being a primary colonist of the Latin American countries, they have the most European influence, with Moorish having a great factor on their having a great influence on their architecture, with horseshoe arches seen right here, geometric tile work seen right here, and open courtyards and fountains. There's also Gothic influence, with pointed arches and stained glass windows, and then a specific example would be the cathedral, displaying Baroque and Chicanesque architecture styles with dramatic, extravagant decoration, twisted columns, and elaborate altarpieces. Next is Mexico. Influenced by indigenous cultures, the Aztecs and Mayans predated the colonial Spanish rule. There's pyramidal temples and stepped terraces, carvings depicting mythology, especially Chichen Itza. But as Spanish colonialism took place, you see more tile roofs, plazas, and then in our modern day, you see modernism with a mix of sustainability, traditional materials, and modern techniques. Next, Venezuela. Characterized by colorful Spanish colonial techniques and grand oil-fueled modernism. It's very bright. Next is Brazil. They're considered very diverse, with a fusion of indigenous, Portuguese, and modernism techniques. And there's a highlight of the brutalistic designs and contemporary and sustainable methods. Uh, sustainable methods, especially seen in their green roofs and attempts of biophilic architecture. Next is Chile, with indigenous methods. They had a lot of tribes, including the Mapuche, Aymara, and Rapa Nui. They were focused on functionalism, geometric designs with concrete class. Next is Argentina, with similar modernism, European influence, especially France and Italy. You can see that right here in their urban environments. Spanish colonial as well. In Buenos Aires, and then arches, tiles, and carvings, and statues as well. They're very bold and decorative. Portugal, shaped by historic events, they have a lot of Roman, Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque, Pombaline, which is earthquake-resistant architecture. You see a lot of grid-based city planning, neoclassical uniform buildings, romanticism, colorful palaces, exotic influences, and modernism in the 21st century. Next, Uruguay. It's usually described as unusual, while nowadays they practice similar techniques. They have a lot of indigenous influence reflected in their modern day sustainable materials. They focus on simple functional buildings with clean lines and concrete structures, and urban areas inspired by France and Italy as well, similar to Argentina or Portugal. Elaborate detailing and Spanish colonial architecture as well. In conclusion, Latin American countries draw influences from various European countries, such as France and England, and they're typically characterized by twisted columns, arches, grand public buildings, and elaborate detailing. South American countries feature indigenous influence varying from tribe to tribe, and all countries strive to implement sustainability in their new works, practicing biophilic architecture and diversity of styles in generations to come.